General Hospital spoilers reveal that Molly steps out of the courthouse, her mind still spinning with everything that just happened. She had testified in defense of Ava at Rick's request, though it was far from an easy decision. The tension between her and her father had become increasingly evident throughout the trial preparations. Molly felt torn, not only because of her feelings for Rick, but also due to the complicated relationship she had with Ava. However, no matter what she did, her decision could not avoid the unforeseen consequences that followed. As she exited the courthouse, a sudden sharp pain hit her. Molly collapsed, feeling someone's hand grip her from behind. She tried to turn around, but all she saw was a blurry figure before everything turned into complete darkness. In that moment, she couldn't help but think back to the tension between herself and Rick, the promises she had made. She began to feel guilty about the events that had unfolded. Had it been her own decisions, her obedience to Rick, and her defense of Ava that had put her in this situation? Rick had always asked her to stand by him, but had her loyalty to him, especially regarding his affection for Ava, dragged her into dangerous situations? These questions echoed in Molly's mind, making her feel even more conflicted. The guilt built up, knowing that these troubles might not only affect her, but could also harm those she loved. Molly stood before the mirror, staring at her reflection, consumed with guilt. She couldn't shake the overwhelming feeling of regret, a deep haunting that touched her soul as she thought about Kristina's actions throughout this time. Molly knew that Kristina's decisions, especially in the lawsuit involving Ava, had caused much tension and turmoil, but it seemed that her involvement in these issues had not been the help she had hoped for. Molly clearly sensed that the tension between her and Kristina was reaching a breaking point. Recent events had revealed aspects of her sister she had never noticed before, extreme decisions and an uncompromising attitude. She knew Kristina was becoming increasingly determined, but the sense of fear and helplessness made Molly anxious. However, what troubled Molly the most was the guilt she felt for not stopping Kristina from the beginning. While she always wanted to protect her family and do what was right, Molly now felt as if she had pushed Kristina into a corner. Kristina's drastic actions and her relentless struggle were not only complicating Kristina's life, but also dragging Molly into an ongoing internal battle. Amid these conflicting thoughts, Molly realized she couldn't just stand by and watch her sister self-destruct. Even though Kristina's problems were growing more serious, Molly decided she could no longer stay on the sidelines. She was ready to stand up and fight, not just for justice, but for Kristina, the sister she loved, even if her decisions might lead to greater dangers. Molly knew she had to act, even though it might come with unforeseen consequences. But one thing was certain: she wouldn't let Kristina fall into a spiral of destruction without trying to save her. Rick stood frozen, his face pale as he heard about Molly's betrayal. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. Molly, his beloved daughter, the one he had trusted and always tried to protect, had turned her back on him. The feeling of betrayal pierced through every fiber of his being, leaving him stunned and shaken. Their relationship, already strained for a long time, now seemed to be irreparably damaged. But this betrayal was not just an emotional shock. What frightened Rick even more was what Molly had done. She not only rejected his help and his requests, but had decided to act on her own terms. Molly, once the obedient and docile daughter he had trusted, was now siding with forces Rick couldn't control, and might even confront him more powerfully than ever before. Molly had set the stage for a counterattack, and it wasn't just a small act of defiance. Inside her, an uncontrollable rage was rising as she realized that continuing to support Rick and his decisions would only pull her deeper into a vortex of mistakes. She was tired of his shady decisions and manipulations, and now she was determined to free herself from his control. Rick couldn't have imagined that Molly's betrayal would be the final blow to him. The actions Molly was preparing to take didn't just involve turning the tables in their family battle, but could lead to a much larger catastrophe, directly affecting those Rick cared about. Secrets would be exposed, illicit deals would be uncovered, and the career Rick had built could crumble in an instant. The sense of losing control left Rick bewildered. realizing that his past actions and poor decisions had created a monster he couldn't contain. Molly, with her newfound resolve, was no longer the girl Rick could manipulate, and now he had become her target.